Sent from Disneyland, history in our hand. So much to say about yesterday and the decades we have spanned. Postcards from the park, this journey will embark. See what has changed and what remains on Sent from Disneyland. Sent from Disneyland.
Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland, Disneyland history, and more, with mementos, snapshots, souvenirs, and postcards sent from Disneyland, from 1955 to the present. Let's start by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in at any level to support the show and receive snail mail from my trips to Disneyland and from my desk, plus some sneak peeks and bonus content. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the rest of the e-ticket patrons, Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Scott Cagle, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Angela Reynolds, Greg Gorley, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, and Ben and Noel Bruning, B-ticket patron Joshua Bell, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Angel DeBlock, Daps Magic, and the Beyond the Railroad podcast. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has the Casey Jr. train coming down the hill over the patchwork quilt in Storybook Land. On the back it reads, Casey Jr., a ride aboard the lovable Casey Jr. train offers a panoramic view of all Fantasyland as it passes the giant's patchwork quilt on a trip through Storybook Land. It's postmarked November 17, 1959, with the Los Angeles Save the Easy Way, buy U.S. bonds on payroll savings, cancel, and a 3-cent purple Liberty postage stamp, Scott number 1035. I assume they visit the park on Sunday, November 15, 1959, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. The weather was a high of 65 and a low of 57. Park attendance that day was 13,237. It's addressed to Miss Elsie Bohm of Aravada, Colorado. It reads, Monday, 16. Hi, Elsie. Greetings from me in L.A. Had another nice train trip, and my sister-in-law has so much planned for me every day and half of the night. Up until December 3rd, the weather is nice, just grand out here. So warm and nice. Hope you're well. I'm just fine. Love, Minnie. Looking at more Main Street windows for this May series, let's look at another window of the Market House. Bruce Bushman was born in New Jersey on April 20th, 1911. He was a son of silent film star Francis X. Bushman. Most of the Bushman family went into show business. Bruce started out working for Walt Disney Productions as an art director for Pinocchio and the Nutcracker segment of Fantasia. He was a layout artist and a background artist on many of the 1940s Pluto shorts. In the 1950s, he worked on Alice in Wonderland and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Bruce started working for Disneyland doing concept art for Frontierland, but is better known for his major contributions to Fantasyland. He was the designer for the Mr. Toad cars, Casey Jr., the train and the station, the Peter Pan pirate ships, the teacups, and Monstro the Whale as an entrance to Storybook Land. For some of the attractions, he worked on the concept as well as the physical attraction. Some of King Arthur's carousel horses were restored by Bruce, and while working on the carousel, he converted some of the original sit-down sleighs into car trains for Casey Jr. Bruce was also used as a measurement. Because of his husky size, designers would make sure that Bruce could fit in the seat and on the attraction. He also contributed to the design of the Phantom boats in Tomorrowland. After the park opened, Bruce helped Walt, Dick Irvine, George Whitney, and other Imagineers to make the tent for the Mickey Mouse Club Circus. Bruce is credited as the art director for the Disneyland 59 TV special, with the celebration of almost 5 years and the new attractions of the Matterhorn, the monorail, and the submarines. After the early years of Disneyland, Bruce returned to working as a layout artist and art director, working on live-action TV shows like Bat Masterson and Sea Hunt, as well as animated shows like Johnny Quest, Popeye the Sailor, and other Hanna-Barbera shows of the late 1960s. Bruce passed away at the age of 60 on February 15, 1972. His window on Main Street has been above the Market House since 1955 and reads, Ship Models, Bushman and Dagradi Manufacturers. Add some flair to your mail by checking out stamps at Enfield Post. You can explore different stamp options on our Etsy site, grab some great deals by following EP Sunday Sales on Instagram, or create something special and have her design a stamp array for your invitation or celebration. You can head over to enfieldpost.com and explore all the different vintage postage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and enfieldpost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has the Disneyland Band in uniforms with white jackets and red pants surrounding a patch of red flowers in the hub. In the background, you can see Sleeping Beauty Castle. On the back it reads, Disneyland Band, Director Vesey Walker. With Sleeping Beauty Castle as the background, the Disneyland Band entertains with a concert reviving happy memories of days gone by when most small towns had band concerts in the park on Sunday afternoons. Its postmark's date has been cut off, but was sent in 1969 and has a Vermont cancel, with a 5-cent blue George Washington postage stamp, Scott number 1283. Let's assume they visit the park on Saturday, May 17th, 1969, when park hours were from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. The weather was a high of 77 and a low of 59. It's addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Harvey Valgon of Charlotte, Vermont. It reads, Dear Allie and Harvey, we spent a day at Disneyland, rode on the rides, and enjoyed the sights. It isn't as big as I expected it to be. I'll tell you about it when I see you. Write again, Allie. We'll be here another month, I guess. Love, Marcy, and Stan. Let's look at another name mentioned on that window, Don Dagradi. Don was born on March 1st, 1911, in New York City, but grew up in San Francisco. He moved to Los Angeles to study painting at the Chouinard Art Institute and joined the Walt Disney Productions like many of his college peers. He worked in the art department for Dumbo, as well as many of the early 1940s Goofy and Donald Duck shorts. By the mid-1940s, he was a layout artist for animated features like The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, Cinderella, Peter Pan, and Alice in Wonderland. He then transitioned to writing, working on the story for Lady and the Tramp, then screenwriting for Mary Poppins, Blackbeard's Ghost, The Love Bug, and Bedknobs and Broomsticks. There was a slight hiatus of his working for the studio from 1955 to the early 1960s, when he helped the Imagineers with development of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and designing the uniforms for the Disneyland Band. He also collaborated with Bruce Bushman on some of the Fantasyland concept art pieces. Don retired in 1970 and passed away 21 years later on August 4th, 1991, at the age of 89. Don shares his window with Bruce, and for his contributions to the Disney animated and live-action movies, Don was named a Disney Legend in 1991. He was also played by Bradley Whitford in the movie Saving Mr. Banks. My incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is a craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. Art Throwdown is a wonderful community of artists who love to share their craft, from creating sticker postcards and coloring techniques to intricate paper cutting and unique crafting. It's always a treat to watch a show and occasionally get some one-of-a-kind postcards from the group. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has Space Mountain at night. You can see the Space Mountain sign illuminated in red, as well as the walkway areas leading to the entrance of Space Mountain, as well as the exit. Its postmark is obscured, but was sent with the Frozen Treats Forever postage stamp from 2018, Scott number 5292. It reads, May 28, 2025. Well, my Disney friend, broke my ankle at SNA Airport this year, so this is being sent from Cambria Hotel and Suites. LOL, cheers, Betsy. Thank you so much for the postcard, Betsy. That's why I'm glad I fly into Long Beach when I head to Southern California, less likely to run into stairs or twist an ankle. I was going through my old postcards, and it was funny that this one had popped up, because we just had some dialogue on an Instagram post about Disney Mail. Another friend had tagged me, and then you commented as well, for me being a person to go to for Disneyland postal-related topics. I'm going to try to send a postcard to that podcast from every mailbox in the park. It'll be a fun challenge. I know this postcard was from a year ago, but I hope your ankle is better, and I hope that you can catch up on episodes soon. I was also excited to see the Frozen Treats Scratch and Sniff postage stamp, as it was the first and so far the only Scratch and Sniff stamp the USPS has put out. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment on whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at sentfromdisneyland or my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney-related properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. This podcast is produced and edited by Clocky McDowell, website designed by Misty McDowell, theme song was written and performed by Noah Sunday Lefkowitz. Take it away, Noah.